Hello friends, very good afternoon and let's start understanding LS Prepost day 2. I hope you guys are ready. So there are few questions from you guys. The first question is what is difference between LS Prepost and LS Dyna? That is being asked quite a lot times now. I got this question when we started yesterday's session on LinkedIn. I got this question on Telegram. I got this question on WhatsApp. So I really wanted to address this in today's session. See guys, there are going to be three levels of CAE technique. The first level is always pre-processing, where you are going to have an input as CAD geometry, 3D CAD geometry. Then there is going to be a discretization process, which we generally call as meshing. So there is going to be a meshing technique which is going to get applied. So there will be pre-processing, then there will be solving, and then there will be post-processing. Okay, so you are supposed to understand the three important steps of CAE analysis. The first step is pre-processing, second step is solving, and third step is post-processing. And of course the fourth, we will call it as half step, which is report generation. But LS Prepost, as name suggests, is a pre and post processor for LS Dyna. Okay, so LS Dyna is recently being acquired by ANSYS, and now it is renamed as ANSYS LST. Okay, so the main important question which I'm trying to address is LS Prepost is not a solver. We cannot solve anything in LS Prepost. It is a free of cost software or a tool which is supplied by LS Dyna to make sure users of LS Dyna are having their own preprocessor at no extra cost. Getting my point? So it is a preprocessor and essentially it is a post processor. So you can do post processing. You can find out displacement, strains, stresses, various forces, torque, all these things you can find out using LS Prepost, but you cannot solve anything in LS Prepost. Is it clear guys? Okay, so you have to make sure you are completely focused on pre-processing and post-processing using LS Prepost. If it is LS Dyna is not free. So LS Dyna has its own cost, and we have LS Dyna training session. So make sure you're watching these 10 recordings which I'm giving you free, where I will try to put a lot of insights about LS Dyna as well, as essentially it is an LS Dyna pre and post processor. Okay, so don't get confused. There is no difference between LS Dyna and LS Prepost. You are not comparing two apples. You are comparing two different things. LS Prepost is a graphical user interface for LS Dyna because LS Dyna runs in a coding environment. It is background is Fortran, and it is a central difference method which is being used to solve a dynamic nonlinear explicit problem. Okay, I hope I'm clear. Still, if you have doubts, let me know in the questions when we are opening our group between 9 p.m. IST to 10 p.m. IST. Okay, so let's begin our today's session, and this is little detailed, so be very attentive. Get your pen and paper down, pause video, or record your settings, and then move forward. Okay, so let's go ahead and let me share my screen with LS Prepost. Okay, so I hope you guys can see my screen now. Here we saw file, open, import, and all. So let's go through file options first. Okay, so let me give you some idea about file options, why we are going in detail. There are two or three important things in file option. As I said, binary plot is a post processing option. So basically when LS Dyna generates the card, there is going to be a post processing option available in LS Prepost. But if there is no LS Dyna right now, you are generating your own input deck, then there is going to be a direct input option of keyword file. Okay, so keyword is a format which LS Dyna reads, and it is an ASCII format, ASCII, which is nothing but American Standard for Code Information Interchange. Okay, basically this is like an IGSN step where a third party will never require a licensing for reading the files. Okay, so the third party can access easily whatever is going on inside the model. So LSDyna file is like a keyword file. That keyword file is in ASCII format. So you don't need any special license to read LSDyna file. To solve LSDyna, you need LSDyna license. Okay, so that is an important part. Here it's just a combination of first and second. The next part is you can get a lot of inputs which are called as database history. Okay, so it is like, it's not controlling the analysis, but it is more of having a lot of data, ASCII data, binout data, and all these things. Okay, so here you can actually import it. Then you can import command file, which will be at 6th or 7th stage. We are going to do a little automation in report generation, and that time we are going to see about command files. PostDB file is a file which is generated inside LSPrepost, but for that you need D3 plot input. Okay, so I'll go one by one and open and save a PostDB file and show you how it is being worked. And good news is I'm going to give you two important PostDB files. One is of a seat, the second one is either of a vehicle or of a bus. So PostDB file will include animation, it will include stresses, strains, it will include all the model data, and those files are free for you guys, so you can use it as at your will. Okay, next important part is you can import project file. Now project file is not an ASCII file. Project file is a binary file where you are supposed to save geometry as well as mesh together. There the project file will come into picture. Okay, so we are looking at it. Just a second, let me get out of the power saver mode. Yeah, here we go. So there are going to be file, open, this is output file from LSDyna, keyword file, then keyword plus output, then history as we saw, PostDB, project, and we are discussing project file is a binary file. Okay, and then you have interface force, IGS step, we saw that, Nastran file, Nastran pitch file. So those files which you saved yesterday, the IGS files, try to import them in a blank LSPrepost, so you'll get a very good idea. Use GrabCAD extensively. GrabCAD has a huge library of various CAD files which are free of cost to everyone, and you can rate the creator. Okay, so make sure you are rating him, because that way he gets a motivation, right? Then you have LS plot file, which is another set of file which can be imported, and you can import some other solver files as well. Okay, so you can import Pamcrash file, Radios file, Abacus file, or even Dyna file. All these files you can import from other solvers. So there are essentially 4 commercial explicit dynamic solvers. Okay, 4 commercial explicit dynamic solvers. So you can see these names. First is LSDyna, then it is Pamcrash, then you have Radios, and you have Abacus explicit. So these are 4 commercially available explicit dynamic solvers for crash, impact, blast, and drop. Okay, and then you can have a solution. You can have imported a multi-physics solution. But now here you see 2 things. One is import, other is open. Okay, so let's see what is the difference. So let me open IGS file. Okay, because we know we are conversant with IGS. So let me open an IGS file. I have to just search where I have any IGS file or not. Oh yes, I have. It was IGS or step, I think. So let me do it for you guys. So here you go. Document. Yes. So if I am opening IGS or step file, this is my RUPD. So let me open a step file, and it's not an IGS. So let me open a step file here. Yep. So this is a step file for rear underrun protection device. Typical file from one of my LSDyna training. So don't worry, it's not much of a difference. Yeah. So it has to be IGS. So we are in open step. Okay, open step file. Listen to me carefully. So we are opening a step file, not importing. We are opening. Okay, and it asks for a scale factor and all. So you'll keep as it is, because we are assuming everything is in millimeter. But if you want to convert from inches to millimeter or millimeter to inches, you can use appropriate unit. So this is an rear underrun protection device step file. Okay, now so we did discussed about how to open the files. Now let's try meshing the files, okay, because there is not much in geometry. You can self explore it. I'll just go through some of the geometry features. As I discussed yesterday, you can do your own freedom geometry, okay. So whatever you wish to, you can try generating this. So there is Boolean operation a plus b, a minus b, a intersection b. All these things are as per usual basic CAD, okay. So not much in CAD department. It's just for maybe little modifications you can use CAD. But now what is important is if I import any of the geometry like I'm doing right now. So let's go ahead, file, import, and I will do I should do step file. So I'll go for file, import, and step file import, and here you go. Okay, so I imported a step file which is a crush can file, very simple file. What are you supposed to do? Let's imagine you want to mesh it, okay, and I'm doing a volume mesh. That means I'm going to do a complete wrap around mesh, which is not a usual meshing technique because these are the sheet metal parts, okay, but still I will show you what to do in meshing. So there are going to be three types of meshings which are possible in LS Prepost: 1D, 2D, and 3D. Okay, so we'll go for simple meshing right now. Let me share my screen. Yeah, here you go. So I opened this crush can, and now you can actually see uh, four different parts. Okay, so two parts are same, and these two are also same. So essentially they are two parts, but they are categorized as four different parts. So what are we going to do? We'll go for geometry, FEM. We'll go for element and mesh, and we will go for auto measure. So there are various other options: shape measure, auto measure, and all these things. So let's first explore what is auto measure. Now I will give you a complete freedom to explore by yourself, and make sure you are jotting down questions or trouble which you are getting, so that it will be an iteration, it will be an interactive session. Okay, so I'll go for 3 mm size, maybe just for sake of understanding. But to measure what is there in between or what is the length, you can simply use measure command, which is nothing but a ruler situated in element tools. Can you see this? Measure. So in element tools, measure. Alternatively, shortcut is F4. Those who are using laptop, they may have to press function, but if you have changed it in BIOS, then you may not have to do anything. You can just press F4, and here you can measure distance, area, etc, etc, etc. All these things you can measure. Distance between 2 points. So let's see, I want to measure distance between these 2 points. So I'll select the first point. Oh, okay, wait a second. It is typically between two nodes, but let me say distance, angle, area, volume. I just have to check. Oh, I have to create nodes. Okay, it's okay. What you have to do before you measure, you have to create nodes. It's simple. I just forgot. Okay, so you can generate nodes here. Node edit. You can generate nodes, create, and nodes by nodes on free edge. Maybe you can generate on curve, and you can generate maybe 4 5 by numbers. You can see this, right? So I will generate some 3 nodes on this edge. So the edge will get created, and click on create, accept, and done. And now I can go to measure, where I can pick a node ID. Okay, so I cannot directly measure on any of the point. I can only measure on nodes. That's very simple in LS Prepost. So you can generate, and you can see the distance as 196 mm. Fine, and 3 mm will be an okay size. So we saw what is measure, and we are now going to see how we are going to mesh it, outer mesh. Okay, so we are not doing mid surface mesh right now. And what I will do, I will just select all the geometry using area. Okay, so very simple. Control, you have to you don't have to press control. You can just click on area and drag it like this. So it will just get selected, and then you can have size. Maybe you can just compute. It says element size 10. You can change it to 3, and then you can just click on mesh. So faces meshing is being carried out, and there is a mesh getting generated. Can you see this, guys? So a proper rectangular mesh gets generated, and that is something which you will be using for your analysis. Now, this is not an accurate way of meshing. We are not learning solver side how to mesh. That is what we are learning. Okay, so this is a outer mesh. Now, if I click on reject, and I will go back one step, which will be geometry, surface, and mid surface. Now, what is a middle surface? A mathematical thickness is getting assigned on half portion up, half portion down, so that you get a complete mathematical stiffness in one direction. So two dimensions are being meshed, and one dimension is being mathematically computed in CAE. So for flat parts, for sheet metal parts, for plastic parts, this is a very common technique in vehicle crash. So what we will do, we will go for middle surface mesh. Okay, or we will have to first extract middle surface. So what it is asking, it is asking by surface, by solid. So I will select by solid because this is one of the solid, and you can see if I zoom in, you can actually see the middle surface is getting generated. So if I just no show one of the solid, it will be easy for you to check. Okay, guys, this is not a CAD tool, so don't expect too much of a CAD kind of user interface here. It's just a basic primary tool for pre and post processing. So here you are going to get the mid surface. I'll click on apply, and I will click on close. Now what I should do, I should be making sure I don't have anything else. So you can actually see these are solids, that means 3D solid volumes, and this is a shell, that is a surface. Okay, so what are we going to do? We will be meshing on it using same technique. So you can go for mesh, you can go for FEM, element and mesh, automation. Now this you can actually find here as well. Okay, so if you go for mesh, that is this FEM, element and mesh, these options you can find here as well. Same options. Now one more tip, if you are looking at these options, there is an icon, that is a 3D symbol, and there is a text written. How to enable it? You can go to view. Okay, you can go to toolbar, and here you can get all the options. So if I want this bottom toolbar, you can see only icons are present. For bottom toolbar, if I enable text and icon, you can actually see the change. Got it, guys? Okay, so try this also. Go to view, toolbar, and I will only go for icon at the bottom just to save space. Nothing much fancy here. And then you can go for auto measure, you can go for size, you can go for mixed is nothing but quad mesh, tria is tria mesh. So we'll see both. We'll first see mixed mesh with, let's say, 5mm size. So now I'm increasing it, and I will select area, and I'm not using my other hand, I will just select it. How to do rotate? Control and first click is rotate, control and scroll is zoom, and control and scroll button is itself a pan. Okay, so you are essentially using only two things. Okay, two buttons basically, and then we have tolerance and all, and then I'll click on mesh. So you can see a simple uniform mesh gets generated. Now if you see these numbers, E40, E40, then you have E40, then you have E8, that means it is nothing but number of elements in that particular section. So if I want to change it, let's say I want to change it to 10, see what happens. There are two triangles getting generated. Now if I do a change here, respective change 10. Okay, so because I made two different changes, the mesh is not getting self-corrected. Okay, so I can do simple stuff. I can just make it 8 again. So I can lower it down 8, and I can click here and I can make lower it down 8. Okay, so I can make changes like this. I can change number of properties. Even I can change this size to 3, and I will click on mesh again. So you can see the change happened in E13. From E8 it changed to number of elements as 13, and you can click on accept and done. Now what you see is there is a solid geometry, so you can have this complete shape group off, and you can just click on this part. Can you see this, guys? So you can see a mesh. Now I can do any kind of work on this particular mesh. Now this is all attached because it was one single surface, so automatically you get a connection between these nodes. So this is how you mesh a 2D part. So we did import of a geometry, we did a mid surface of a geometry, and we also did a meshing of using 2D elements as a geometry. Okay, so if I want to assign thickness to this, and then we will stop. If I want to assign thickness to this, what is supposed to happen? I should define a thickness to this particular part using model. Okay, you can pause in between model, then you can go to part ID. Okay, then you can click on create, then you can just click on shell element because it is a 2D element. So 2D in LS Dyna are called as shell elements. You can click on new ID, so it will generate another ID, whatever ID it has, and I will just name it as part title. That's the name. So it will be, let's say, crush can, and I will name it as 2 mm thick. So that's the thickness. I haven't assigned anything, I just named it. Then it is asking for section ID. So I'll go for section ID, new keyword, and I will define a section shell. You can rewatch it, it's very simple. Then I will make this change as 2 mm, thickness is equal to 2 mm. I will name it as crush can 2 mm. Okay, I'll click on accept, and I'm going to assign a material, and I will just create a simple elastic material, elastic, and it will be material ID, new ID, density will be 7.85 E minus 9, that's ton per millimeter cube, 210000, and then it's going to be Poisson's ratio, which is 0.3. Then click on accept. Okay, and now you can see section ID got assigned, material got assigned. I click on done, and now what you can do, you can actually see whether thickness got assigned or not. So this thickness is mathematical thickness, as I said. So how you can see that? You can go to appearance. Okay, I'm sorry, you can go to appearance. There is a cube and then there is a spotlight on it. So go to appearance, and here you can see a thickness option. Okay, so it says that display thin shell parts with thickness, and then I'll go for nothing you have to change here, all visible, and click on done. Okay, so now I cannot see it. Reason, the part which I generated is not containing any element. That part was empty. So let me assign these elements to the newly created part. Very simple. So I'll go to transform. Yes, element tools, move or copy. Okay, I'll use move or copy. What I'm going to move, I'm going to move this by part. Okay, these nodes, where I'm going to move. So I go for p list, which is this one. Oh, okay, so the part did not got created or what? Wait a second, guys. So I'll go to model, I'll go to part ID. Oh, oh, yeah, I did not click on accept. Okay, so this mistake will often happen with you guys. That's why I didn't got this name. Now I'll use move command for p list crush can, and I'll click on apply. But I think by part, yeah, here you go, crush can, apply, and accept, and done. So I'll go for visualization, visual options in model, appearance, thick, all visual, and done. Can you see this, guys? So it gets a 2 millimeter thickness. Now this is not a solid mesh. This is not a solid mesh. This is a 2 millimeter thickness representation. If I change this thickness to 1 millimeter, so let me do it quickly. Go to keyword, go to section shell, and just change it to 1 millimeter instead of 2. You can actually visually see the thickness getting changed. So let me just move away these things. Yeah, here you go. So if I just click on apply or accept, okay, and I think I have to refresh it. So you can see the thickness here. You can go to model, you can go to appearance, and just change the thickness from all visual. Can you see this, guys? So the thickness got reduced to 1 millimeter. Okay, so this is how you apply thicknesses for LS Dyno. So this is an LS Prepost way of applying thicknesses. So you can keep on applying thicknesses like this, and now you can make use of this mesh to translate part from one place to the other. So let me switch on all the geometry, and let's imagine I just want to translate the elements, not the geometry. So what I can do, I can go to model, okay, and I can go to sorry, element tools, and I can go to transform. Okay, so element tools, transform, I'll use maybe translate command. So let me translate it in x direction with a distance of, let's say, 1000 millimeter, and then I'm going to make use of this area, which is this one. Okay, and then I will just click on translate plus. Can you see this, guys? Okay, now if I want to just translate it without copying, in this sense I don't want to make a copy of it, I'm translating the original part to the next position, then I will not click here. Okay, so this is right now not a copy, this is a transform. But if I want to make use of a copy, then I will be clicking here. So let me take it translate back. Oh, sorry. Yeah, and let me make it copy elements, and then I will be picking the same part, maybe same id, same part, everything same, and I will be translating it. Okay, so you can actually see the yellow nodes remain as it is. That means it is a copy. Okay, and then I will click on accept and done. So you can actually see two copies being generated of one part. Whereas if you use do not copy, then the original part will get translated. Now the assignment for you guys is you create this kind of a box, because you now know the geometry. So very simple, just create a box. Maybe you can use boolean operation. So you can simply try this, create a solid box. Very simple, I'll just show you. You can simply create a box, xyz. I think it got created at origin. Yeah, here you see. So this is an origin. You can just change it to some value. Let's say I change it to 300 millimeter wide. Okay, then I change this to 100 millimeter by 100 millimeter. Okay, 100, and this to 100. Okay, so this is the box which I have generated. This is a solid box, so I'll click on apply and done. Now what I will do, in the same way, I will go for geometry solid, and I can make it a minus b, right, using using this. So I'll create another box, okay, which will not start at 0. So now my origin should be up, am I right? So my origin should not be like this. My x1 y1 z1 should not be 0 0 0. It should be what? It should be little inside. So let's say 2 millimeter in. So I'll go z as 2. Okay, so I moved inside, and then I will go y as 2. Okay, here you go, and I kept x as it is. Okay, and then I will change this to, instead of 98, so it got changed to 98, right? I can change it by dragging this arrow as well, but because it is 2, so I'll make it 96 in this direction. Okay, and I will make this as 96 in this direction. Hope this is clear to you, right? And then I'll click on apply and close. Okay, so I got two cubes inside. I'll go for geometry, I'll go for geometry tools, or maybe I'll go for solid boolean and I will use a minus b. So I don't want to do union, I will subtract. So it is asking for a solid shape, this is a bigger shape, and then I will be doing a subtract option for a smaller shape. Okay, so here you can see this cut solid and click on apply. Okay, it happened. Oh, okay, so okay, it got selected a wrong shape. Wait a second. So I don't want this solid, this solid, this solid. Yeah, here you go. Okay, so solid shape, the first one, and then I have solid shape, cut solid, which is the second one, and then I click on apply. Guys, you got the 2 millimeter thick 300 by 300 by 100 by 100 block. I click on apply and I will click on close. Okay, so I got the similar type of a shape. You can extract mid surface now. Go to geometry, surface, mid surface, and then you can just click on mid surface here. You can get an easy mid surface. Click on apply, click on close, generate a mesh on the mid surface, assign the thickness as I told you, and see whether you can check the thickness assigned is correct or not. Okay, so I hope this was an insightful session for you for today, and tomorrow we will be talking more about how to actually build or how to connect two parts together using bolting, and then we will see welding, and then we will be next, most of the part I want to focus on post processing, because that is really very interesting. More than this, it is much more important to do a correct post processing, and we will be paying good attention on automation as well. Okay, so see you guys for day 2. Tomorrow we will be meeting as day 3. Okay, have a nice day. Bye.